Good morning, good afternoon. We're live with Kim
Good night.
Coleman. Or good night. Morning for us, maybe night for you. Actually, in the community meetup we had earlier this week, we had someone from Thailand joining us at 10 a.m. our time, but it was 9 p.m. their time. So while we were just starting our workday, they were getting ready to go off to bed.
Hopefully.
So I would hope so. I know I would be at 9 p.m.
I was just
done.
I think, is my light too bright? I feel like I'm like really bright.
You're a
Is
little
okay?
washed out.
I don't know if I can adjust it now. Let's see. There. I was like getting blinded looking at the camera. I wanted to just look at my computer, but I try to make eye contact if I can.
Yes.
Yeah.
So today, at least in the US, is a very spooky day. Today's Halloween. And we have a very spooky topic for you. What happens when subscription things go wrong? I think you're looking at Stripe and PayPal today. Is that correct?
We're going to touch on PayPal a little bit, but yeah, we're going to go through, I think, maybe 10 or so scenarios that sometimes happen. And I hate to talk about this in the context of our plugin because it is very secure. It's very well written, well coded, talks to your gateway very tightly, but you're running your WordPress website, you're running your membership site. Things can go wrong. Your site can go down and miss information that the gateway's sending. You can install something and cause a fatal error and just have kind of a hiccup in things. You could do an import incorrectly. You could edit a member and change something that shouldn't have been changed. And you could have good reasons for just wanting to update subscriptions and members. So this is less about like show you all the flaws in the websites you're building and more about just having some tools in your toolbox if you notice data is incorrect or out of sync or needs to be synced. So that's kind of the context of things here.
Yeah, before you jump in, Webmaster is saying they're using PayPal right now, but they want to move to Stripe. I know Kim White's watching, so we're actually kind of racing to see who can find links faster in the background of this open office hours.
Gamified.
But we have a post on switching payment gateways. So we'll see who can get the link faster. But nice. We do have the whole walkthrough on how to do that. And she's probably going to find it faster than me because I'm typing and talking at the same
time. You're getting very good at that, Sam, the longer we do these streams. Yeah. I love that. K9 Striker, backup. Yep, keep backups for sure is a good tip. And Sam said, I'm going to do a lot of these demos with Stripe. There's been some questions lately about us deprecating payment gateways. So Paid Memberships Pro, when it launched, it had some gateways that aren't even included in the version now. And, that's 13, 14 years ago. Gateways themselves are their own development projects and environments. And, we look at popular payment gateways like Stripe, like PayPal, and some others, and we see how are they keeping up with their development? What modern development are they doing and offering us to integrate with? Because we have to build technology in our plugin, in the plugin running on your site that talks to the payment gateway, and they have to have systems to send information back to your site. You might have heard the word webhook or the word IPN. These are both systems that your payment gateway uses to talk to in a safe way to your WordPress membership site. So it's a two-way street. We don't have control over how the gateways are developing their APIs or what new systems they're following. We don't have control over whether they choose to stay compliant with things like PCI compliance or strong customer authentication. So we have to watch their development plans and say, can we sustain integration with where we want paid memberships to go in the future with the way these gateways, the technology they support for us. So I know a big one some people in our community had raised some concerns about was the decision to deprecate Authorized.net payment gateway. And this is because we are integrated with an outdated version of their API. So we can't talk to Authorized.net in the way that we need to do strong customer authentication, to make your site have the best PCI compliance and take a lot of that burden off of you. So it's not always an insurmountable problem. It's just a problem of the small number of people using the gateway and whether or not it makes sense for us as an open source project to develop it internally, or if it's something that we could think, is there an external developer that wanted to build a business around creating an Authorized.net integration using a different Authorized.net API version or anything like that. So there's trade-offs. And most of the time when a gateway is deprecated, it isn't just immediately going to stop working and break on your site. It just means you should be putting steps in place to find a new modern gateway that integrates with Paid Memberships Pro. And using that switching payment gateways post that Sam linked means that you can have new members start paying you through the new gateway, and then kind of have the existing members continue to pay you through the old deprecated or no longer default payment gateway. And their payments will still process. You'll still get paid, but it'll just be slowly that you'll move people to your preferred gateway that has all the modern things that we look for in a gateway partner. So that's kind of a spiel about payment gateways and why you're going to see mostly Stripe here, because they are the most modern gateway that we can integrate with and on the cutting edge of all the things that we need to be able to have that two-way conversation between your payments and charges and then your membership site.
That was a great spiel. Quickly, right before we dig into all of the wonderful things that you've set up for us, can you hear my wind that is blowing through the house at my microphone, or is that like a non-issue? Because it's pretty loud on my end.
I cannot. The Florida winds are quiet to us.
Okay. It's been nice. So we've had the windows open like all week long. It's nice to have the breeze come through, but I just didn't know if it was too loud.
I want to do this.
It's too loud. Tell me, and I will close the windows.
There you go. Now keep them on.
I will
open and keep that airflow.
And you can.
Here's my screen. So this is a demo website. I set it up yesterday. I created a bunch of scenarios that you might run into. So this website looks very unhealthy because it has all of these scenarios in place, but it's really not the case. I recently went, when subscriptions tab was added in Paid Memberships Pro 3.3.1, it's a new tab that exposes data that's been in your membership site since version 3.0, but we just made the interface for you to browse it in this format a lot because people want to reconcile this information like we're going to do today. So I went through thousands of subscriptions dating back to 2011 in our site, and I probably found 10 incorrect subscriptions. So that's gave me a lot of confidence that we've been developing on a good path. And of course, we've been watching it because we watch our site and use Paid Memberships Pro internally. But I didn't have a huge glaring number for a site that's been running for 13 years. Not too bad. So the first thing I just want to do is go over the subscriptions tab and kind of touch on quickly if we have confusion about what's membership and what's subscription. So subscriptions are the agreements between your customers to pay you on a recurring basis. You won't see a subscription entry for someone who made a one-time payment. You will only see a subscription entry if somebody agreed to pay you on a recurring basis, and that was set up at the payment gateway. And this is our version of that data in your membership site so that you can reconcile if what your site thinks you're being paid with what your gateway is actually billing. Because all of the gateway code, the gateway itself is who does the billing. It just sends information back as charges are processed. So you can have members with no subscription. You can have members with an active subscription. And if they are, you'll see them in this list. You'll see the active and then also the canceled.
And just to add, this subscription tab that Kim is on right now was released in 3.3.1. So if you do not see it on your site right now, this is hidden from you until you get 3.3.1, and then you'll see the subscription tab. The subscription table that Kim is showing has always been part of the membership plugin, but it has been only in the edit member part.
Yeah, let me.
So you'd have to go through your through the edit member screen. But now we have a subscriptions table that you can see yourself.
3.3 added this interface with this view of subscriptions, and then 3.3.1 added this one. So get on the latest version. If you're not, reach out to us and let's talk about why. And maybe we can help you or direct you to a developer partner who can help you move some custom code or move some things that use legacy hooks to the modern system. So subscription is that payment agreement. It's all about billing. And membership, we think more of as the access. So knowing what level someone has and knowing what they're allowed to view, access, get subscribed to in your email marketing system, anything else. So think of membership as access to something and subscription as like a payment agreement. And it's confusing we want to make it as clear as possible. I think we have an article about what it's the difference between a membership and a subscription.
But we do, Kim. But the problem with our article is it's not how we internally use it. It's how like the membership and subscription world uses it. So for that specific blog post, it's really like membership is like I have a membership where I get to go to a gym every month until I stop paying, and then I can't go to that gym.
Yes.
Whereas a subscription in that article is I'm paying for like this subscription box to come to my door for my dog.
You're not really like a member of HelloFresh. You know, I wouldn't call myself
that's
a member
or
a member of my local newspaper. You know, that's a subscription thing. Okay.
That blog post explains
that.
Don't read that blog post. We'll have to create a blog post of like internally how Paid Memberships Pro uses the terminology membership and subscriptions, because it is different just about everywhere you go.
We need more content writers to clarify all these things. But anyway, we have this now. We've talked about it here. And maybe just appending that post would be the good place. All right. So I'm going to go through some scenarios. And if any come up that you're encountering and you want me to try to recreate them and go over them, it takes a few steps and like brain power to figure it out. So here's a member. You might see this come up in the site, membership ended. And that would show up on the subscriptions table. If you're scrolling through, you would see some of these red warnings, right? And I'm looking at this one, wrong level subscription, membership ended. So I'm like, what does that mean? Let me look at this member. And I go to memberships and I'm like, their membership didn't end. They have membership, but it doesn't have a subscription, but the subscription thinks it does. So now I have to just do a little investigating and I have to say, oh, the subscription thinks it's for the enhanced level, but the member has the beginner level. So they're not expecting the same result. They're paying you for enhanced, but on the site, the membership and the access they have is not the enhanced level. It's out of, it's not the same. It should be matched. I don't want to use the word sync because that means something else. So in this case, as if I wanted to correct this so that they were paying me for the right access, I could edit the subscription and change the level on the subscription to beginner, or I could say, you know what? They're supposed to have enhanced. Why are they beginner? They don't have the level they're supposed to. So in that case, I could go change the level to enhanced and don't do anything here. And then it'll just match up the data. So it's like, oh, we know they're paying you for enhanced already. Yep, we got that. It's right here. So now we kind of eliminated that error. So they no longer have the wrong level for their subscription. They have the enhanced subscription at the $25 per month fee. It's an active subscription. We know when it'll bill again, and that's the same matching level that they have. So that was the one way we could have fixed this. If we instead were like, uh-oh, I changed my enhanced. It's now $100 per month, but they shouldn't, they're paying for beginner. Beginner's $25. We could have edited this subscription and changed the membership level to beginner. So there's two routes to resolve this. In this case, I made the decision that my site is the enhanced membership, and they should have had that enhanced membership level for what they were paying, but you could have gone either route. So if you see someone, go ahead.
Should you reach out to the customer to ask them, like, you know, we see this discrepancy in your membership with what you're paying us. What would you like me to set it to, and like confirm with them?
You could definitely do that. If you thought that there was like a widespread bug where people were canceling and going to beginner, in the site, beginner is free. And I know that in my head, but I didn't show you all. So in this site, if they have beginner and they weren't paying me, they might have a subscription active that they don't realize is active. So that is another route that you could say, maybe they meant to stop paying me, but something weird happened where it couldn't cancel the subscription when they chose to downgrade to beginner. So that is a scenario that could have happened here. I made these updates because we used to have a level called PMPro Core in 2011 till 2016, I think. So I was reconciling a lot of people whose memberships were plus. We moved them into plus when we added the plus plan. We just gave everyone that had the legacy core plan, but all their subscriptions were still expecting core. So I just said, no, like they should have plus and their subscription is plus, even though they're paying me $47 a month or something, or a year or something like that, not a month. So yeah, that's always an option, is to reach out. If you can't deduce what is really meant to be happening here, definitely reaching out to the user is always a path to take. Okay, should I do another one?
Yeah, but Gavin from Sensible Co. real quick said, I thought it would do this from the Stripe side if I changed it there.
If you change things in the Stripe side on the subscription, it will change the subscription data that Paid Memberships Pro has about that, like the price, when it communicates back to Stripe, but it won't necessarily make level changes. It'll only change the data about the subscription. We can demonstrate that too. If you change the price, let's say from $25 per month to $100 per month in Stripe, the next time the subscription syncs to your membership site, it'll show on the site, yep, they're paying you $100 per month, but it won't change their access. You'll have to also change their membership to match. It's a lot. Oh, is this the one I meant to do here? Subscription active, but no membership. Oh, I want a different one than this. Okay. The next one I want to show is somebody with an active subscription, but no membership. All right. Let's see. I tried to label them. Missed discount, no level active sub. Okay. Here's a member that has no membership at all, but we see that they have an active subscription. This is one of those cases, Sam, too, where you might want to reach out, but you could also just give them the membership level. Be like, oh my gosh, this person has no access to the site. When they log in, they can't see the enhanced stuff. Something weird happened. Their level never got applied, but I know that the gateway is billing them. What do you do? So in this case, you could reach out and say, do you really mean to be paying us $25 per month? Or you can add their membership with no communication, and it'll just sync it up to the subscription that's already active and eliminate that error. So that's just giving someone a level when their subscription is still charging according to the gateway. They're still getting orders coming in, but they don't actually have a membership level in your site. Very similar to our first one.
You can confirm that with the orders panel right there. You can confirm and make sure that, oh, they've been paying me for 2 months and they don't have a level.
Yes.
That's where you could say, yep, they need that level assigned.
We had, similarly to this, we had someone in the community ask about if the subscription was showing as like a deleted user. So just like what I did here, if we didn't even have a user that it was attached to, we could have created a user, given them membership, and updated. So I'm going to demo that one. Maybe I'll do that a little later. I'll do that. Maybe I have that one to demo. Okay. So that's giving us a level to someone who has an active subscription, but no membership in the site. All right. All right. I have to hunt this one down. Here's a member who has no subscription, but they have an active membership level. And we want to link a subscription for this member. So they have membership, but they don't have a subscription for it. And we're like, they should be paying us. So this takes some like hunting in your gateway. We can't charge people that haven't agreed to charge us. So we can't go into our gateway and just be like, oh, Sam, I know her email address. Let's just start charging her $20 a month. Like that won't work because we don't know anything about them. We don't know their payment information. We don't know, they haven't agreed, obviously, ethically, they haven't agreed to doing that. So we have no way to just bill someone who isn't billing us. But in this case, I'm going to be like, something funny happened here. Let's go look in our gateway. What could it have been? So let me open my Stripe. This is Stripe in test mode. None of these are real transactions. So I'm going to search for this person. Here's this customer. When I locate them, I'm like, oh, they do have a subscription. Why isn't that reflected on the site? Let me look at this. So I used their email address as a reference point in my payment gateway to locate them. And I found their customer. And then in Stripe, which is wonderful, and I wish every gateway had as many features as this does, I can see what they've been charged, and I can see what they've agreed to pay me as a subscription. And I can look at this. Okay, they signed up yesterday. That's when I did all this testing. They're going to pay me again next year, so it's an annual. What can I use to reference this in my site? Let's see if I have any data. I'm going to copy this sub ID and use that in my site to search and see if this subscription's here. Oh, here it is. So I do have the subscription in my site, but it's showing as like, no, we don't know who it's associated with. We don't know anything about it. So let's dig into this one. The user doesn't have the membership. That's kind of a weird error message. It probably should be like, we don't know what this user is because we don't really have a member attached to it. But if we edit the subscription, we can sync it up based on the user ID of the member that it should be linked to, which is 32. You see that in the, we don't really have the ID of the user exposed anywhere here, but it is in the URL. So we're all being
It's also
super
on the members list table.
loose
If you're not in the edit member screen, you can find it in the members
that's
table.
right. Oh, I opened in a new tab. Let's show that. Members. Oh, I have it hidden. Oh.
Screen
Hold
option.
on. I'm clicking too much. Here,
You're doing too many
ID.
things. There you go.
All right. So this is member 32. So we know that that's the unique ID in my WordPress site for that user. And the subscription doesn't know what user it's being billed for. So I can link those two together. I'm really curious what that link member. I haven't done this. Do you want to see what this does?
I know what it does.
Link. So that's just creating it if you create it in Stripe. Let's do that later. That's a good one to demo. I never demoed that one. But because we know it's this subscription, because we use the unique subscription ID from Stripe in our membership site to search the two, we can click update subscription. Now they're linked. So if we go to this user with the incorrect username now because they have a sub and an active level, we've connected that membership that had no subscription and the subscription that showed as a deleted user. So we've connected the two. I think this link subscription is if you create it at the gateway, Sam, and you want to create it at the site. You said you've done it. Okay, we can do that at the end.
I wrote documentation on it. I didn't actually do it.
Okay.
So,
there. So
whether or not it works, I don't know.
Be my
there's
brain.
Documentation about it. Real quickly before you continue on to your next problem, can you show on I think it's an order or maybe it's not an order, where you can hit the sync to gateway button for Stripe? It's only for Stripe. This no other gateway has this ability to sync it, but and how cron jobs run to sync with the gateway periodically. How often are those run?
I don't know.
I don't know how often they are, but at any time you can always go in and
manually sync. I don't know if it runs a sync for anything other than when it gets information. So I think it will sync when the recurring payment comes through, but otherwise it won't. But if we can ping David, we can ask David Parker. But I'm pretty sure it syncs when the
I don't know if he's listening to us or not, but I can
subscriptions get first. Probably not, because he'd be cringing at everything I'm doing. Kim, no. No, it's not. Yeah. So what Sync does, it just goes, hey, Stripe, like, is my next payment date right? Is this actually active? What are they paying us? Is that correct? All that stuff. So it just tries to sync the next payment date, like their fee or their like billing for that, and then the status of the subscription, canceled or active. But we'll use Sync with Gateway in a little bit. We can demonstrate changing a price for something, which I think someone wanted to do.
All right, we're waiting for the answer from David.
Okay,
but we'll get it. Okay, so Ryan said, can you discuss what we can do if the subscription data isn't matching to Stripe? I'm sure you'll get to that, so we'll wait and see, because you have a lot of different
and clarify for me what specifically isn't matching, because the sync is going to work to make them match. But if you have subscriptions that don't exist in the membership site but should, or if you have subscriptions you think should exist but don't exist in the gateway, then that's all different stories to tell here.
Perfect. And then just like a little sidebar, Kevin is asking, do you think Paid Memberships Pro is suitable for your yoga studio? Kim White said we have many yoga studios using PMPro. We do. It's all a matter of what content you want to share and how you want to share it, and charge your members and kind of design your membership site yourself. So if you have more specific questions, I would reach out on our contact page and we can direct you to documentation of this is how we would do this is how we would do that. So.
I'd love to see like a good example site that has a hybrid in person and a virtual of delivery. We've had people that
Doesn't Mirko's one that he built?
I don't know that that's ever delivered in person. I wonder if it's exclusive. Let's give me a yoga. I'm not Italian. I don't say it right. I don't know if there's an in-person aspect or if it's strictly virtual, but I know that I've sent people sales replies related to using the membership card to validate membership for an in-person or using like a hybrid events plugin with Paid Memberships Pro to have people that are on subscriptions kind of still enroll. Because if it's classes, there's still like a capacity issue. So there's this second tier of access, which is like you have access to go to classes, but is there space, which is a curious, fun thing. I'd like to go to yoga, restorative yoga.
I would like to go back to that too.
Yes. Oh, you went with me. That's right.
I did go with you one time, yeah.
Cool. Next one.
Yeah, because we'll talk about the Sync to Gateway in a little bit. There's more questions, but we'll dive into that a little more later. And then I'm just trying to read Ryan's problem real quick. I think we'll dive into that too as well.
Cool. So this is one that we get asked about sometimes with Paid Memberships Pro. People want to give their membership to someone else, and we offer them a few ways to do it. We can say like, we can transfer your account. So they have your history of support tickets and they change their username and email address, and they would essentially like take over your user ID. Another way to do it is to have the new account holder create their own account, and then we just transfer the remaining term of your membership and your subscription if you want to them, and they wouldn't get access to like your history. And then we would remove from the previous account holder, we would remove their access and they would no longer keep paying us essentially. So I'm going to demonstrate if that happens to you, if you're like, you know what, there's like a lot of forum activity, you know, these car club, let's say one of our car club members, but they have someone they want to like gift their membership to their grandson. They're no longer engaged with it. Their grandson will be, but he wants his activity to show up in his name and not be his the previous account holder's legacy information. So how do we transfer a subscription and a membership to a brand new user? So the first thing we'll do, create the new user. I'm trying to label them so I remember what I did. So we call this new user for sub.
It'll also be easy for me to go through the video and make chapters later on because I could just look at your username and go, this is what we're doing here.
Yeah. Okay. So that's our user. We could have also done add member, but let's just go the generic route. So we have a user. You could have also had them register themselves for like a free level on your site. We do that at Paid Memberships Pro. If there's something like that, we say, have them go create a free account. That way they've done the password stuff. They've made any custom user field selections, and we don't have to go chase after that after or have them go through a password reset process. So you could also say, have the new account holder go create a free account and then let me know when it's done, or I'll watch and then we'll add their membership. So this member is the new user for sub. So let's compare what we're doing here. This membership is a professional. So let's give them membership of professional. I'm not going to have it expire. And then this subscription, I'm going to edit and give it to the ID 4. We just did this, right? So now when I look at this person's membership, it's linked. So I'm on the new user for sub. They have the subscription now. They have the membership now. And we just have to make sure that this person no longer has membership. So they don't have a subscription, and then we can just cancel this membership on them. So the person who wanted it transferred leaves at the end of this process with no subscription and no membership, but their whole order history. And the new person leaves with an active membership and an active subscription. It's still billing through that other person's card. That's why this is a little bit of a weird scenario, but it's what it is. Maybe
that's what I was going to say. I was like, but is this person still paying?
Yeah, they are still paying. So I guess it's good if it's like our association has a new administrative assistant, and they were the one managing the account, and now it's this new person. We're still paying through our corporate card, but we want the new person to create their own login and not have that history of communication from before. That's kind of the scenario I can cook up in my head. But we did have somebody ask a similar question to creating a new user. So it's possible. That's the steps to do it.
Kim, can you slow down on your fast clicking a little bit so people have like
yes.
half a second to read stuff?
I'm sorry. Okay, yes, I
Thank
will.
you.
Should I do it again?
I don't think you need to do it again. I mean, they
We're
can
doing
also
good.
you can replay too, so don't freak out too much. It stays on YouTube. So
We are like not halfway through my list of what goes wrong. There's a lot
and
that
we
can
are
go
halfway
wrong,
through the
guys.
live stream. But
Ooh.
I mean, I don't have anywhere to be after this, so we can go as long as you'd like.
Okay. Switch the user. Okay, this next one we've talked about, and this relates to that sync, right? So it's showing the wrong price on the site. This person has $1,000 per year subscription, and their membership is showing as $1,000. Let's say we're now charging $1,200 per year. Let's see if I don't even know if we can try to increase the price. I know there's limits with how much you can increase what someone's paying you, and it might get allowed, it might not. So here's this subscription, and we're going to go into Stripe using this sub ID. This is our best friend to find the data in our subscription on the Stripe side. So, I already did it. Never mind. Okay, let me tell a new story. This is what I did. Okay. We have someone and they sent an email. They're like, you know what? I don't really want the professional at the $1,000 per year. I want to pay $100 per month. This level on the site is using our payment plans add-on. I'm going to go slow. Sorry. Okay, here's our professional level. It supports both a monthly payment option or an annual, $1,000 per year. So when this person signed up, they were like, I want to save that $200 per year. I'm going to get your annual plan. And then let's say some time goes by, they're like, it's coming up on that renewal. That's a lot of money for me. I want to switch to paying you $100 per month. To do this without them having to manually go in and process a new checkout, we can edit that in the subscription in Stripe directly, but the data on our site would be incorrect. So in Stripe, I probably should have just shown you all how I did this, but this is the subscription in Stripe. If I go to Actions, Update Subscription, I get limited but pretty flexible ability to make changes. So for this one, what I ended up doing was, let me add okay. This is what it looked like when they originally checked out. They had professional for $1,000 per year. And then I removed it and added an existing product in my Stripe account for professional that was $100 per month. When Paid Memberships Pro creates subscriptions at Stripe Gateway, we create products and prices for them. So in this site, we already had the $100 per month product or the professional product with the $100 per month price. So, but you can also manually create them if you wanted to be like, you know what, I'm going to add a professional. I spelled it wrong. All right, let's see. Professional, add new product. Let's see. Professional. That's what is it, $100 per month? Let's make it 60. What would a weekly be? That's like a lot of money more than that. $100 per month divided by 420. Let's say it's like $32 a week. Now we have like a weekly version of this professional plan. So you can create different payment structures for existing products in Stripe and add and remove them from people's subscriptions. I'm not going to actually do this, but the scenario we began talking about was someone that was paying us $1,000 annually and wanted to switch to $100 per month. So we would update the subscription in Stripe like this. You can do things related to proration and billing cycles that can maintain a new payment date. So if the person had prepaid that $1,000 until March next year, you could begin the new billing structure that period after. I think I did this one wrong because it's charging next year, but this isn't about updating subscriptions in Stripe because we have a lot of docs about that. but it is about making the data look the same on both ends. So let's say this is the wrong price on the site. It should be $100. We've already done this action in Stripe. So for the membership site side, we can use that sync with gateway and it'll update this to match the $100 per month billing. Oh, I did do this right. We don't want them to start paying until their first year's paid. They already paid us once. Okay. Sorry, this is inherently confusing. I'm going to keep apologizing throughout the whole thing. But yeah, so that's what that sync button did for us. We were able to change the billing amount in our payment gateway and do proration and delay when it charges them again. And then when they are in their membership site and they're logged into our site, they'll be able to see on their account page, that's right, I'm professional, I'm paying you $100 per month, and I'm not going to pay you again until October 30th of next year, 1 year from my initial annual payment. So that's just keeping that data in sync if you need to make changes to the subscription within the gateway itself. Did I go too fast?
I don't know.
Okay. This one comes up a fair bit. It's if people are missing orders in the site. And I recently interacted with someone in our Slack community that didn't even realize Paid Memberships Pro could do this, that it could create recurring orders every time the person is rebilled. They were like, oh, it just comes into the gateway. We didn't even realize that you could send them a receipt every time an order is processed or notify them in advance of it processing. So that's a case where maybe your webhook failed, maybe your IPN failed, and Paid Memberships Pro didn't get the update from your payment gateway to say hey, a charge came through. And when that data comes through from Stripe through your webhook, then Paid Memberships Pro kicks off that order creation, kicks off that order confirmation, the receipt email in the site. So in this scenario, I had to kind of fake it because you can't create subscriptions in the past. So I faked it to be a $5 per day subscription, which Paid Memberships Pro supports, but I did it last night, so it really wouldn't have happened until today. But I was able to fake things enough in Stripe to get this to work. So let's pretend on October 29th, they had a daily membership. Yesterday, they should have gotten an order, right? They didn't get one. So why is that? Why didn't it actually charge them yesterday? Let's look into things at our gateway. Be like, did it actually charge them? They're on a daily membership. Where's the Wednesday the 30th charge? So you're going to ask yourself these questions, and you'll go into your Stripe account and you'll say, this is their subscription. Oh, they paid us. There was 2 because I was playing around with it, but they paid us on the 30th. Why isn't this in the membership site? I see this charge was successful. They don't have a receipt for it. This is when you'd want to go look into issues with your webhook. We have guides on debugging webhook issues. That would help you understand why the site didn't automatically create the order, but you can send the webhook again, which we tell people to do. Resend the webhook. And I think I found the one that I wanted to here. These can be tricky to find. The best way is under your Stripe developers webhooks. You'll see these URLs because I do a lot of testing are lots of different sites. But the site we're playing with today is this Calculated Martin site. So if you click on it, if you have none here, the first step is to go back in to go through the gateway setup steps and make sure your webhook is set up properly. Once you know that it is, you'll see it in your Stripe account here, and you can click through and you can see all the times that your webhook tried to push data from Stripe to your membership site. And it's tricky. You have to hunt through and see which one was it? Which charge was it? I think you can also get to this from the invoice page. I just don't always know which one is which. Here's the charge. I don't know if you can resend from here. Anyone in support that's watching, I couldn't find a way to resend from the individual, clicked through to the individual one. I could only see the way to resend from this list. But here's this payment that was a successful payment, but we know that our site doesn't have this order. If we click resend and we're back on this member, that has missing orders. If I refresh this, now that order will show up in our site. So it's still the correct information. It was still billed yesterday afternoon when it should have been for their daily membership. It's just us saying, Stripe, tell us one more time about that charge. Okay, here it is. So we've had issues where people's webhooks aren't set up and there's loads and loads of missing orders. That's a big pain in the butt to click that resend button for all these people. That's your choice how correct you want the data in your membership site to be. If you want to go through and resend those all, there's no bulk resend of webhook data. So it's really like reconciling individual accounts, which really stinks. But once the webhook is properly set up, you'll never have to do this again. There's notices if the webhook gets anything wrong with it or we think it's not coming through properly. But you can make your data more accurate by clicking resend on the information you know is missing for which orders. So that's a weird one. Missing orders. Any questions? Are our heads spinning? Are we doing too many?
I don't know if we're doing too many or not.
Okay.
I mean, they're all like good information, and it's good to like, especially when I get chapters on the video after the fact, it'll be good to be able to like break it up. But
sorry, people.
Kirsch asked, if I fix a sync this month, will it stick for next month?
If you click sync subscription on an individual subscription, sync with gateway, it should. As long as the data you're not like overriding the data with new imports or anything in your database is being changed back. But once it's in sync, it's going to know what the gateway charge billing amount is, and it'll know when the next payment date is. And if you change things at the gateway, you want to sync again to the membership site.
And just a reminder, as people are coming and going, that sync with gateway button is only available for Stripe. If you are not using Stripe, you do not have that button.
Isn't it available with PayPal?
No.
No. Okay.
Sorry, I thought I was going to sneeze. That's why I answered so fast.
Sneeze. Please sneeze. It stinks when you try to sneeze and you can't.
No, I confirmed with David when 3.3.1 came out when I was doing the doc updates for the subscription table that button is only for Stripe.
All right, I'm cleaning up. All right, we did orders missing. We did a resend of a webhook. The next one I want to do is someone emails you and they're like, oh, like I saw you had that discount code, and I put it in at checkout. Of course I did, but it didn't come up and I didn't get the discount.
I'm sure you did.
I'm sure you did. So how do you fix someone who tells you they missed using a discount code? So I don't actually think I have any discount codes in this site. So let's make one. This is the user we're going to do this for. Let's say we had 50% off our first month of professional. Oh, I have one. Trial. So I'm setting up the discount code.
Yeah, I was going to say quickly to explain what Kim is doing. That way people are watching her speedy hands. She's creating a discount code, and the discount code will completely override the membership level settings that you originally set up in your membership. So it looks almost the same as a membership level settings as far as the initial payment and the billing amount goes. But this is where Kim is setting the initial payment to be the 50% off for the first month, and then the recurring is going to be full price every month. Okay, continue.
Okay, so I made my code. So assuming the person thought that they used the Pro 50 code so that they would get 50% off their first month of membership. I think I'm using level cost text on this. Oh, is it not? No, it is. I don't know why the price didn't show up right here. Are we using? That's weird. In my site, it didn't apply. It might be a caching thing. All right. That's another issue we're not going to talk about. That's probably nothing. Okay. So they said they used the discount code and we're like, I don't see it, but you know what? I'm nice. I'm going to let you have it. So I'm going to go into their initial order and I'm going to get an information I need to look at the payment gateway, which is this charge transaction ID. And this you can do with any payment gateway. This doesn't rely on the sync or anything like that. So I'm going to get this transaction ID and I'm going to look it up in my Stripe account. I'm going to look for this charge. Here it is. This should have been $50. If they had actually used a discount code and it had worked at checkout. So what I'm going to do in Stripe, this is the way that you issue a refund in Stripe. We have a guide about issuing refunds. I'm going to click refund, change this amount to 50. And we'll say other, I'll say, missed discount code. And it's going to refund $50 to this charge. Now in my site, nothing changes. You can process a full refund through the order, but you can't process a partial refund. So what I would do if I was setting this in my site, I would edit the order, and under the payment information section, I would add that code just because it's nice for reporting. Like, even though they really didn't use the code at checkout, the discount they're getting is the same as if they had used it. So I like the reporting of that, and I'll edit these totals as if that discount was done. I also like to add order notes. We like to do this in our team. October 31st, gave a partial refund for missed discount code. It just helps you see things later and understand what's going on in the site. So now it's going to show up as if that discount code was used. You can, if I say like view the orders for this code, this one will show up. The person got their money back and all the data is good. So I know that my site is, I know the report of number of people who've used Pro 50 is correct. It's not like completely correct, but it's correct. That's like a partial refund. Okay.
I don't know if our docs have a way of explaining how to do a partial refund. We should probably add that. Mental note for me.
It's always going to be done at the gateway.
Yes. So Kirsch clarified, and not so much of if you hit sync with gateway, if that sticks, but if you do one of the repairs that you're doing now, would the repair stick?
Yep.
For the problem. Okay.
Yeah. Especially repairing your webhook. Like that should not unset once it's properly set up. If it is something weird, your host is doing something weird in your site and like changing your settings or restoring backups when it shouldn't or something like that. But yeah, all these repairs are permanent.
Perfect. Gavin from Sensible Senko, if we use an external system to create a Stripe subscription, i.e. from a CRM, would that work? I think that's where you could do
that. The link subscription and create it, right? It has to be the Stripe account that's connected to the membership site also. But like we can do that one. Let's do that one. You want to do it now?
Yeah, we can do it now. Okay.
I wonder how I can even do this. Let's just do it for an existing customer. Maybe Stripe will let us do it. This is this user. Let's try to add a subscription. I've never created a subscription. Is this me? Input payments. I think so. Okay. Let's say they're going to start paying us. They're going to get that weekly. Let's give them that weekly, right? Somehow they signed up for our weekly professional membership. Bill weekly starting today. Automatically charge the payment method on file. Okay. Let's create it. Let's see what this looks like. It should bill them right away, right? And charge them $30. $32. Okay, cool. So some external CRM created this subscription in Stripe, and I want my membership site to show that same data. I want my membership site to be able to cancel it. If they cancel their membership on my site, I want to be able to tell Stripe, don't bill them anymore. They shouldn't be billed anymore. So let's try to do this. Here's my member. No, that's not my member. Here's my member. I'm going to go to memberships. Oh, I have a membership. Let's just create the subscription. For some reason, this one already has professional from somewhere before, but now we want to link what we just did in Stripe to this site. So here's the first time using this form. Sam, help me if I get confused.
See if it works. It's pretty self-explanatory.
Pretty self-explanatory. Okay. Again, that our best friend, this sub ID, We're going to copy this, and in here, we're going to go like this. Gateway is definitely Stripe. We are definitely in sandbox mode, and the level is professional. User ID was pre-populated from clicking that link subscription button from the edit member screen for the user in question. If you needed to reference that ID, you'd have to look that up some other way. So let's say link
By your members
subscription,
table.
and I'll go look at the member. They still have professional, but now it worked. They're paying $32 per week. The order doesn't show up. Let's try to resend that order because they were billed right away, right? So this is a subscription created somehow, some other way, directly in Stripe from some other portal, and we want the membership site to be able to recognize that subscription and interact with it, get recurring orders for it, be able to cancel it if it needs to, if someone upgrades and does something like that. So let's try to resend that charge. We did that by going to developers, webhooks, clicking on our webhook. No, that's not. I don't know if it sends webhook charges. I wonder if it's going to send them ongoing. It probably won't. That's a good question for David too. When you create the subscription this way, it doesn't think that it needs to tell your webhook anything, my guess.
There was a resend button though on the.
That was that $5 charge we played with earlier.
Oh.
I wonder if there's a way to like attach webhook events to a. I'm looking at all this. Doesn't seem like it. No logs. These are events, but they're not specifically source dashboard. I don't know if you can tell this. No recent webhook attempts. Maybe you can't tell it to send webhooks for a subscription.
I wonder if the next one would show up though, because then you have your subscription linked in your PMPro. So I wonder if the next order would show.
Let me look at a different one in this.
Roger said a Stripe order is charged 1 hour after it is built.
1 hour after it's built. Let me look at a different subscription and see the origin. It doesn't have an origin set. This one has this origin set. This one doesn't. This one knows that it's from a PMPro site. Yeah, I don't know if you can do that. Maybe we'll never get the orders. What if I say sync subscription from that member? What do you think will happen then, guys? We're in uncharted territory. Subscription updated. Does that change anything? Still the same origin. And still the source is still the dashboard of Stripe. So I don't know if that would work. No, that one we'll have to get back to everybody on whether that's possible. What I need is a way to attach a webhook to this. Let me see. Is it a metadata? Let's go here. I won't pick on this too much because we'll just go down the rabbit hole of confusion. This one doesn't have metadata. No, I don't know. Is someone messaging us? I heard
You heard my Slack noise. It's a community post.
Oh. No, maybe not. We'll have to figure that one out. I don't know if that's possible. What I mean is possible for it to get the ongoing subscriptions. When PMPro creates subscriptions in Stripe, we tell in the request, like when you set this up, here's who you have to tell about it, which is reporting it back to the integrated site. So maybe creating them in the Stripe directly, you can't attach that data retroactively to the subscription. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, rabbit hole. We at least do have their membership in here, and we do know that if their subscription gets canceled, it'll send that information back to the site. But it won't, I don't think it'll send orders ever. Okay. Sorry. We tried.
Next problem.
Next problem, partial refund. All right. Here's a member that somehow ended up with 2 active subscriptions for the same membership level. It happened on my test site, so I thought I'd recreate it. I don't know in my brain how this could happen in Paid Memberships Pro. That one didn't get canceled and one did. So I think this is going to be like, do some research. Let's look up these 2 subscriptions. Let's look them up at the gateway and try to see, what is this? Oh, I just faked it by creating one. So you would look them up and you would try to find out which one's the real one, which of these isn't real. If I look at this one, it's active. It's being actively billed. It looks correct. So that one looks good. And if we look this one up, I'm not going to find anything because I just called it subdupe, which isn't a real thing. So this one we can safely cancel on the site. So really it's just looking at the data, digging into it and saying, like, does this look correct? Or was this just like a ghost in the machine that created this one? So I'm going to cancel the one that I can't find in my gateway. Oh, because it's not a real, well, it's not going to let me do this because I made up a word that isn't real, but I think I did it right in the database. So you'd want to, in your case, if this happened, most likely it wouldn't be because you hacked your database, but I'm going to unhack my database here. Where's my dupe? Here. Oh, it's going to show a sync error now. All right. Well, it does show as canceled here. So the user no longer has 2 active subscriptions. This one, it just doesn't know what it is because I made the subscription a fake word. So you would have to, if you found a way that someone had 2 active subscriptions, you would have to be like, which one do I really want to be active? If they were both active in Stripe, then you would either want to give them a membership level in addition to the one they already have. Maybe they have 2 subscriptions and one is meant to be for a level in one of your a la carte level groups. So you would create a new membership and link that to the subscription for that membership, and then the other one to the other. So it could be like a lot of research and deducing things to figure out why would someone have 2 active subscriptions. If one's just incorrect, try to cancel it. The one that's linked to the membership will stay active. The one that's real with the payment gateway will stay active. If they're both active and they're both for the same membership level, that might be one of those reach out situations and say, hey, I found you have a monthly and a weekly payment plan for this. Which one do you want to stay? And then you would terminate one of them and keep the other one active. So I don't know if you see that one come up often. I only see it in my testing sites because we do a lot of funny things that no one really encounters in reality using paid memberships.
Which is probably a good thing because you don't want want the problems that we created for you. Okay, so before you continue, because we are at our hour mark, but I'm totally okay for going.
I have 2 more.
Okay, well we'll get through those. But before everybody leaves, just in case you don't want to stick around with us, a couple upcoming events that we have is Coding with Sam is actually tomorrow. We don't usually have an open office hours and then Coding with Sam right behind it, but I am taking the day off next Friday. So tomorrow we have Coding with Sam. If you don't know what that live stream is, 5 minutes before I go live, I pick a code recipe from our site and I figure it out. I dive into it, 20, 30 minutes at most, and you get a nice little tutorial on if I can code something out of the blue without studying it, you can too. So I'll figure out what I'm doing tomorrow morning. And then our next open office hours is going to be November 14th. And it's going to be an Ask Me Anything. For this Ask Me Anything, I will be hosting Kim White, who is one of the customer support engineers that we have, and Andrew Lima, our director of operations, who's also heavy in development and in our support ticket system. So we have two very strong minds coming to the Ask Me Anything. So let's try to stump them. That would be fun. That will be November 14th at 11 a.m. Eastern. Speaking of
Daylight
Eastern,
savings time.
Daylight savings is this weekend for us. So our time is shifting 1 hour backwards. So just make sure you mark your calendar accordingly. Coding with Sam will stay 9 a.m. without changing tomorrow, but all the events after that will be 1 hour earlier.
Daylight time.
Yeah.
We're sorry.
I guess our
the US
standard
apologizes.
standard time. And then also make sure to give this video a like, subscribe to our channel. If you're not in our Slack community, make sure you join that. That is a great place to talk to your peers about what you're doing on your membership site and what they're doing on their membership site. We also hold exclusive events for those people in the Slack community. So if you want to join in on more events where you actually get to hang out with us face-to-face on like a Google Meet, that's your opportunity to do that. Okay, now, Kim, commercial is over. Last two. What do you got?
So we, this one actually Kim White brought up because it occasionally happens in our support. Someone will say, my members have a monthly payment, a monthly subscription, but they're expiring after 1 month and it's canceling their subscriptions and they're losing access. Like, why are you canceling my members? And 99.999% of the time, this is just an incorrect level pricing setup. So I'm going to show you how a monthly level should be set up in the pricing. And then I'll show you how you would repair existing members who have not yet expired and canceled to set them up with, to remove their expiration date that shouldn't have been present. So a monthly membership level, most of the time, people would want to charge that monthly amount right at checkout and then set up a recurring subscription that's $25 per month per period. And it's the same for an annual. You could do, $100 per 1 year. But this does not need to have an expiration. Don't put an expiration on it. If you do, you're going to see a warning and then you're going to ignore it because sometimes people ignore it and we don't know why. But if you do that, if you say check when this membership expires, and people will go like 1 month. And the reason I think that that's confusing is because people don't want membership to continue after they aren't getting paid anymore. So in some people's brains, I think they interpret this as it expires after the month they've paid for, unless they pay again. So Paid Memberships Pro handles that. Paid Memberships Pro handles the recurring billing and restricting and terminating access if the billing fails to be charged from the gateway again. So you do not have to set the expiration. If you had your level settings like this, we'll just go through it. At the checkout page, they're going to see price for a membership is $25 per month. Membership expires after 1 month. So let's go through checkout and I have another user that this happened to. A fake user. Okay. So the user would see their next payment and their expiration date show as the same. Not good, not true. In Stripe, there is actually a subscription. Let me find it. for that $25 per month membership. So we're in this safe zone where we can still remedy this on our side without these members actually canceling their accounts. Once they've canceled, we can't remedy this. But if you realize your level settings were incorrect, you have a handful of members to repair. You can go in and under memberships, this is that monthly with incorrect level setup. I can edit and unset this expiration date here. Don't do anything else. So now this member is correctly set up to just have a $15, keep billing them monthly until they fail to pay us. Not until they expire. They're not going to expire. They're going to fail to pay us. The same would be true of our member we just did. Let's go back to that membership account page so you can see. Oh, I did something weird. Okay. This is what it looks like now. That's incorrect. We don't want this person to actually expire. Edit, unset the expiration date, and then back on their account page, it just looks good. It's just going to charge them again. So that's fixing an issue where you had level settings incorrect, and members that already have agreed billing payments with you also have expiration dates, but shouldn't. So you have to manually remove expiration dates from anyone in that scenario.
In that scenario, if you fail to remove the expiration date, which of the functions would take place? Would it expire, or would Stripe try to keep rebilling them? Like, which one takes precedence?
Stripe bills down to the minute. Like the next payment date is actually like a date and time. The expiration is also a date and time. So it could possibly bill them and expire them within minutes of each other. It could possibly expire them and cancel the subscription and never bill. It's possible either could happen just based on how frequently your expiration cron is running. I think by default it runs, someone tell me. That's warning emails. Expire memberships. PMPro cron. Expire memberships runs hourly. Is that what, did someone tell you or you found it?
And White told me.
Okay, so you can increase
I don't
the frequency
search code.
You can increase the frequency of that, but it's down to the hour. So, if the Stripe one was at like 2:54 p.m. and the cron ran at 2 and 3 and it was supposed to expire at 2:52, like it would bill them and then expire them at 3 o'clock. And it's not on the hour. The cron doesn't run on the hour. It runs hourly from the point of time it's set up. So,
right. And then, so
Anything
Ryan Smith also confirmed that, and Ryan Smith added a question from David that I have yet to get a response to from, but Ryan said that the Stripe subscription update is daily. Oh, so once a day it checks to see if it should be billed.
If it should update the subscription.
Yeah, update the subscription.
Okay, cool. All right,
fun fact,
I have one more. This was one I ran into because we used to use Authorize.net at Paid Memberships Pro, and we don't have Authorize.net anymore. We closed the account. So we had some subscriptions for people from 2012 that showed a sync error. The subscription could not be found. And this is when the gateway is no longer connected to the site. And it doesn't mean that it's not the primary gateway. It just means we can't find this gateway. Like it doesn't exist. This would show for subscriptions if you change Stripe accounts and your new Stripe account settings were for your new Stripe account, but you still had an old Stripe account that was billing people. It would show those subscriptions would show as a sync error. We see Stripe credentials, but we can't talk to them. We can't talk to we can't find this gateway in that, or the subscription in that Stripe account. It was created with a previous one. So I created this error by entering my PayPal Express credentials incorrectly. You can look up your sync errors. I don't know what else that could be. It's really just the gateway doesn't have that subscription. So the gateway that's assigned for this one is a PayPal Express. Where'd it go? No. Well, I lost my sync error. Here. It was a PayPal Express charge, but it can't find it. So I'm going to fix my gateway settings for PayPal Express, but I'm not going to show you all because they're not my live settings, but they're my sandbox settings. You don't see them, do you?
Nope.
Thank you.
Okay. I say, don't make me edit this video, please.
Yeah, no, you don't have to. I know sometimes I reveal things and I'm like, crud. All right. So now I think that I fixed them. Yeah, okay. So I'll talk back through what I did. That's a sign that if the gateway's disconnected because you're not using it anymore, you can't make a sync error go away. You just know that these subscriptions will never be accurate without manual intervention. You change Stripe accounts. You can only have one Stripe account connected to PMPro at a time. If your old one is still showing live subscription or active subscriptions in your site, you're going to have to find that Stripe account, watch those payments, and make sure those subscriptions stay active, or people will retain membership. You might also say, you know what, that's the old Stripe account. I'm going to just set an expiration date for these people. Like, I'm not connected to that gateway anymore. They're going to expire on November 30th. And they'll get an email. They'll have to resubscribe and join me in my new Stripe account with a new recurring payment profile. Or it's a sign that your gateway credentials became incorrect. If all of your subscriptions showed up as a sync error, maybe someone like keyword flubbed, put a little letter in one of the gateway keys. It wouldn't happen with Stripe because when you're connected, it doesn't pass API keys around, but PayPal still does require manual fields. So maybe you just flubbed and accidentally saved your gateway keys with like an extra letter at the end, and all of your subscriptions show sync error. So go back through, validate your gateway credentials are correct for your active gateway, your default gateway. If you have PayPal connected through the Add PayPal Express add-on, switch to PayPal, double check those credentials. And just know that any subscription that's showing a sync error that we can't determine if it's active when it's billing again, you might not be getting recurring orders coming through from it. So those members are ones you're going to either want to manually watch and be careful of, or just put an expiration date on and have them migrate to a gateway that is functional in your site. That was my last one.
I'm surprised we got through all of that, because when you messaged me that list last night, I was like, okay.
Extending someone's trial, getting them off of a trial. I can show that. That's really part of that editing subscriptions in Stripe, which probably deserves its own stream.
And if you have Slack open, Steve in the community, Steve White put a scenario in Slack.
Oh, okay. I do.
If you want to look at that. I think it might be the way I'll let Kim explain what Steve said, but I think it might just be level setting error initially. And that can fix his problem for next time.
You can't delete the draft invoices. Interesting. I wonder if they're using, I wonder if they mean draft or, oh no, it's Stripe. Stripe keeps raising invoices. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think Stripe can. I don't know if you can delete the draft invoices. Well, I don't know why you'd need to delete them. I'm not sure. I'll try to follow up with that person there because I think I'm not quite clear on what issues are. Yeah. Yeah.
And if you're watching a live stream and you're curious, go join our Slack community.
Yeah. Please. That's all I got. I know we probably all spun our heads a little bit, but I think like you said, Sam, once you put some what are they called? Chapters in this video, then we'll have like direct links to say like, here's how to resend a webhook event. Here's how to sync a subscription. Here's how to move a subscription between two users. So, and we can make mini videos of any of these going very slowly, not Kim speed, to show how they work.
Sam can study it and then we'll go Sam speed.
There you go. You're faster than me sometimes.
I try not to. I also try to slow down and explain everything.
I know.
But sometimes you just get in your head and you're like, go, 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 go.
I'm sorry.
You and I both work fast.
Yes. Cool.
That's how we keep the world running.
We are going to see you all tomorrow. We have to do our hair and makeup 2 days in a row. I'm not promising.
know.
I'm not promising.
I'm using the days to also record extra videos. So we've got some new content coming to you guys.
Woo!
Hopefully by the end of this week, but we'll see how motivated I am on a Friday afternoon.
Yeah, right? It's hard.
Thank you so much. We'll see you in the morning.
See you in the morning.
And you'll be surprised with what I'm coding because I'll be surprised too.
I love it. Awesome. Have a great day, everybody.